I wish that after a miscarriage, people had told me that the wait for your baby to physically pass through can be incredibly emotionally taxing, that not knowing when that might occur. And the fact that you can still feel pregnancy symptoms throughout that time, which can be really confronting and really confusing, feeling nausea and vomiting when you know that your baby no longer has a heartbeat. The actual process of the baby passing through, it's often said it can be like a heavy period, but it can also be very labour-like. So it can have the distinct phases of labour. So you can have like nausea and vomiting with minor contractions, more like cramping to start with. But then that can really intensify into shivering, diarrhea, with those contractions getting more and more intense and more close together, similar to when you're going through a vaginal birth of a full-term baby. The fact that labour positions can be really helpful would have been really nice to know. I didn't know much about that at that time, but certainly being upright and using heat, so like a heat pack, a warm shower was a game changer for me. And trying to lean forward onto the end of my shower to relax with the water going straight onto my back was really helpful to ease my contraction type pain. And also it would have been good to know that what size to expect of the blood clots. Certainly I didn't really want to be sitting there feeling overwhelmed Googling what size is normal before calling an ambulance, before discovering that anything up to the size of a lemon can be seen as perfectly normal. And yeah, if people have told you that a miscarriage is just like a heavy period, then that can be really confronting and overwhelming. And you certainly don't deserve to be overwhelmed in that moment. Something that's really important that I wish I'd known is that you may or may not recognise your baby as it passes through, obviously depending on the stage of gestation that you have lost your baby. And you may or may not want to or choose to collect that baby. But if you haven't recognised them or you haven't collected them, you're not less of a person for having chosen that or for having missed that completely. It is really helpful when you're going through this physical process to have a support person, so someone that can support you and reassure you and be there through those times. Also to make sure that you're safe physically and emotionally is really important, or to hold, in my case, a vomit bucket for me as well. Now you may bleed for weeks after, and it may be really heavy for the first week or two, and then the first period back might be really heavy as well. So there can be really significant bleeding after a miscarriage.